Hi, hello, how are you, Amanda? Makeup person. I'm going to use two brands today. I'm going to use Beauty Society's Incognito and of course my favorite, SEINT Makeup. So SEINT Makeup is cream-based 3D foundation. I use this all over my face because I love the finish of it. So I'm going to dig in and I'm going to start swiping things, but I want to talk about under eye concealer. I've been talking with a lot of people about under eye concealer and what that means for them, because a lot of people feel that the SEINT cream is just too much and then it creases, and it's with specifically maturing under eyes because there is a lot of texture that can happen with that. And so I thought, let's talk about good quality concealer. Your makeup will always look like makeup, but it should look like good makeup. I talk about that all the time. And so that's what we're going to do today. I am going to go in with some of my brightening just for down the middle, but this is specifically talking about using concealer under your eyes and how to do it well. All right, so I've got my contour on and I'm going to put on my foundation color. And then I have a camo color. This is Hazel, my summer color. I'm just gonna put this over my scarring just for coverage. You want something a little darker than your natural foundation color. And look how it just erases it. And then I'm gonna go into Athens, which is my main shade. And I'm just gonna create balance. I've got some breakouts over here, so I'm just gonna give coverage down here on the beard of my face, and then into my chin, and then up onto that coverage that I added. And doing this on the other side. But when you have skin that's changing, and that was one of the big things for me, or you have skin that isn't like other women's because you have mature skin, you want makeup that works with your skin and you're not fighting against what's happening with your skin, because that's where we get into some of these issues. I'll call them issues, stuff, if you will. And so we're gonna go in, we're gonna use creams so that it enhances our skin texture that's already there. I mean, this is good makeup. It's 80% pigmentation, and that means you get maximum coverage with minimal product. Okay, so I can get balance, I can get coverage, and I can get an even skin tone with dimension in one really beautiful layer of makeup. All right, and so we just use these tones to enhance. So my light colors are where the light naturally reflects off of the face, okay? And then you can go in with your shadow tones that bring in, because lightness pulls out, and we can give ourselves all the contouring that we want. And then we can talk about blush. I always strongly suggest doing your under eyes after you do all of your blush and bronzer. So we're just gonna add a little more bronzer in this area. And then I'm gonna go in with my blush, and then we get to talk about under eyes. You want something under your eyes when you have maturing skin. You want something that is going to hydrate it, because your skin starts to dry as you mature. For some people, I know my skin is oily, but it's not as oily as it used to be. And so as you mature, things do get a little bit more dry, and you want something that's gonna have that hydration and that it's gonna feel hydrating when you touch it. Whereas when you use some concealers, they start to set really fast, which makes movability really hard, all right? And so we're gonna get a product like Incognito that's a little bit light for our skin tone, but it's gonna be hydrating for our under eyes. So we're gonna get really great coverage, but we're also gonna get really great hydration. And so those two things together, using a small amount, but having that hydration, that's what's going to give your skin that youthful look. When you start piling on powders, that's when you start getting into areas where your skin looks older than it is. And I've had a friend tell me that that's what I do. It didn't feel good, but it did make me really look at my makeup, and it made me kind of start playing with makeup again. And that's all we're doing. By looking at different videos and different people doing tutorials, it's really finding what makes you feel the best in your skin and finding a product that can do that. And it can check more than one box. You want that nice youthful skin, but we both know our skin isn't gonna stay in that way. So finding a product that works with your skin is key. All right, so we're gonna just add a little lip, and then I'm gonna get into Incognito, because Incognito is that hydrating under eye concealer that has skincare in it for your maturing skin or mature skin, anti-aging in your concealer. You're not going to find in a lot of places. Okay, let's set the makeup. I like to set my makeup before my eyes with spray. So we're just taking my blue marble, which I love, and then I'm just going to press it in. And this is a film forming spray. I really like it, especially for my phone zone right here. And then just getting into all the little things gives everything a little last minute marry. Okay, Incognito. Anti-aging full coverage concealer that has hydration. Hydration, hydration, hydration. When you have drying skin, you don't want a mattifying, drying, setting makeup. Makeup, that's your whole face. But we're gonna talk about under eyes. I love SEINT and its finish and its longevity. I do feel like I love Perfect 10. It's a great liquid foundation, but I like more coverage, especially with my changing hyperpigmentation. So this is a really great thick concealer, okay? It's really good, but we don't need this much. So we're just gonna scrape it off and we're just gonna work with this, okay? You're gonna go into your natural shine here and we're gonna go up our orbital bone. And if you have really mature under eyes, I'm using shade 2. You don't want to be super light because that can accentuate texture, okay? And then I'm going to go right here and add a little lift to my eye with my concealer. Then I'm going to go to my inner corner and down my trough. This is where lightness pulls out, like what I was talking about. Shadows pull in, lightness pulls out, and then I'm going to go around my nose and into my smile line. Because it has the movability, you're not going to get the cracking and the gathering, okay? So we're just gonna add a little more onto here, not a lot, just recoating, getting that shine area and then up the orbital bone here, adding that dash for lift, getting that inner corner and then down the trough. You wanna lift the trough. It's gonna hide the puffiness and again, having something with movability. So again, we're just gonna go into that smile line and around the nostril. You don't need to have a big smear of makeup on your face. All right, now I'm gonna go in with my blend brush. Love this brush for my under eyes. I use it with my SEINT creams, but it also works really well on this small end and this fluffy end. They work magic for under eyes, no matter if it's concealers or creams. So get this product, and we're using Incognito because of its movability. And I swear by this, hydration and movability, those two things are what make maturing skin pull that youthfulness forward. All right, we're gonna take that small end and I'm just gonna go right here into this shine area. I'm gonna get right into that smile line and then straight up into that inner corner here, up the orbital bone, and we're just working this together. And then once this all starts fluiding together, we go to that soft tissue. It's a lot like my method with my SEINT makeup, but this concealer works so well. Flipping to the fluffy end and just bridging it together with my blush. And look at that brightness. It's not a lot of product, it's not gooping, but again, it's been sitting on my skin for a minute, okay, for a while. Any other concealer I've used, Tarte, starts setting and getting tacky, and you want movability. And that's because we have maturing skin that has movability. So when you start seeing cracking or gathering, creasing, creping, it's because the product that's laying on your moving skin isn't meant for movement. You want something that moves with your skin. I mean, think of skirts. It's like a skirt. And you're dancing in your skirt, but it doesn't have a lot of movement to it. What happens to that skirt? It starts moving to a zone that it's not supposed to be, which is usually up. So having a skirt that has that movement that works with you, like a salsa skirt, you want it to move with you. And that's kind of the same thing. I know it's not a great comparison, but that's all I can think of right now. And I always get weird comparisons in my head. So again, taking that, going into that inner corner to correct that darkness, up that orbital bone, because we want to create that illusion of a sheen by using a shade that's a bit too light, adding lift and cleaning up the eyeshadow, and then under the eye. And look at how pretty that is. And it lasts. This will last, and if you find that there's any movement that you don't like, it presses out just like SEINT, okay? I'm gonna take SEINT's blotting dust. I like it way better than the vanilla dust. And if it breaks like mine, it just presses back together. We're gonna start at a low texture area, and then we're gonna go around the eye. Mine's my temple. Bring it down the cheekbone and then up. Boom, boom, boom. Same thing over here, around on the temple. Also, hair tends to cover the temple, so you can get away with a little more pressed powder going into that area, and then up. And I'm just going into my high texture zones when I think it's empty, and it's not. Okay, I'm gonna go slap some brows on, but that is concealer for under eyes with your Saint makeup. A lot of people just think that Saint's makeup is just too thick, too heavy for their under eyes, and it just doesn't work with their mature skin. Try Incognito. There is a link. Definitely use it. Again, I'm shade 2. If you use Saint, send me your brightening shade and I can tell you which Incognito to get, or send me a makeup-free picture and I can tell you which one to get. So that's it. This works great with any other traditional makeup as well, not just using it with Saint. Makeup doesn't have to be brand the same. Mix and match things that work for you, that make you feel your best. I'm gonna post a picture so you see what I look like with brows on, because I feel bald without my brows. Have a good day.